Something just fell, but nothing bad. All right, Baseball for Life episode 3. We're gonna wait for some more people to get on. We got a few things to talk about. The Jose Ramirez versus Tim Anderson fight was intense. Also, the Yankees starting injured players and making them play. We'll talk about how the MVPs I think will go, and then getting closer to the playoffs, and it's intense races all around. AL and NL, it's very competitive. Both races. Wild card, what's up? The wild card race is intense. Division races are heating up. Everything's just going up, up, up. Show you guys the card I just got. I just got this in the mail. Julio Rodriguez PSA 9 rookie card. It's a dope card. Julio's a stud. Really heating up in these later summer months, which was what he did last year. Had a slow start to the year, but really picked it up. And now he's a two-time All-Star. Fantastic. He's really turned the season around, so we shall see what 2024 holds for him. I'm very excited to see that. But let's talk about the main event. Tim Anderson versus Jose Ramirez, one of the best baseball fights of all time. So, this was basically about to play the day before. Basically, when Jose Ramirez slid into second, he thought that Anderson tagged him a little hard. Whatevs. And then when it happened the next day, Ramirez was sliding into second. Anderson slapped him real hard with the glove. And then we all know what happened. If you don't, basically, Anderson took his glove off. They squared up. Anderson got a few good jabs in, but then Jose Ramirez absolutely knocked the daylights out of Tim Anderson, knocking him to the ground. Nice, you'll be here for a bit. Yeah, knocked him to the ground. So Tim Anderson was just laying there after Jose Ramirez just got him good. What a punch that was. And then the bench is cleared. Usually after a big blow and like everyone circled up, it's all like a shove fest. It didn't stop. People were still swinging. It was one of the best baseball fights of all time. Really was. My dog's barking. I hope you don't hear that much. Really, baseball fights are not that fun. It's just push and shove, push and shove. A lot of talking. They didn't talk. They squared up, and the umpire knew his spot. He just stayed off to the back and let him go at it, and I'm happy he did, or we may not have this legendary fight. But the fight is still happening. There's still a bunch of stuff on Instagram. So Jose Ramirez's agent actually posted something. It was Jose Ramirez posing like this with boxing gloves, basically saying, hey, I won that fight. Tim Anderson did not like that, saying a bunch of badly chosen words, poor choice of words, words I cannot say on camera. So yeah, Tim Anderson was not happy with that. Yeah, I haven't done that yet in a while, though. I might do that for the next Baseball for Life episode. But yeah, that was a great fight. Really interesting. And they got their suspensions. Anderson suspended 6 games. Jose Ramirez suspended 3, but they will be appealing the suspension, meaning they probably will both play tonight. Tim Anderson, though, stinks. Terrible. Having a terrible, terrible season. Like, really bad, Tim Anderson. Like, actually bad. Tim Anderson was one of the best hitters in the MLB for a while. I believe he had, not anymore, he had the best average from 2018 to 2022. He did not carry that into 2023. Struggling to hit over 240. Like, this is a former batting title winner. I don't know how you can hit, especially with all these new rules. So, Tim Anderson, we all know he likes to speak his mind. Literally flipped off the camera last year. But we'll see what happens. I really was expecting to see him traded, but I guess no one wants him. I feel like he's going to start punching their players or whatever, slapping them with his glove. But enough talk about that. Let's talk about the Yankees starting injured players. Now, if you don't know, about a month ago this happened. Anthony Rizzo was playing first base, and there was a collision, Guy knocked into him. Rizzo banged his head pretty good. He got a concussion, and the Yankees made him play for the next month, really, with the concussion. And yeah, we all know how bad he was. He was terrible. And you could imagine playing with a concussion, that's not good. So, as someone who's had a concussion, the last thing I wanted to do, even though I love it, was to go play a baseball game in the sun. Like, whenever I stood up, I would get dizzy and all that. Like, why would you make a dude play with a concussion, a serious injury? Yeah, yeah, that was bad. A serious injury, a concussion is. Why would you make a guy play baseball? Nonetheless, a first baseman, where you can have a wild throw, it can hit him in the head, which can make this work. A concussion's a bruise on your brain. It's so easy to make that worse. And you made him play baseball, and now Rizzo is on the 10-day IL with PCS, post concussion syndrome, which is really when the bruise on your brain is gone, you're healed, but the symptoms are still there and they're still bad. And Rizzo still has symptoms. Oh, this light, I can't. He still has symptoms because they made him play with a concussion. And now it happened again. Carlos Rodon, for the last 2 or 3 starts, we all know how bad he's been, but he's been struggling with a hamstring injury. Yeah, they are. I mean, it's hard to play with a concussion, and the Yankees just pushed him too far. But now, it looks like they pushed Carlos Rodon too far. The past 2 or 3 starts, we know how bad he's been, but he's been having hamstring injuries these past 2 or 3 starts. Give the guy a day's rest or so. He pitches yesterday, gets blown up because it's hard for him to pitch with that hamstring injury. Literally, one of the keys to pitching is your legs, but he's now on the IL with a hamstring injury, which could have been avoided because if someone says they're hurting, don't make them play. I get it, we're in a tough race, the Yankees. I get it, we're trying to make this playoff push, but you cannot push your players because they will be gone for the next 15 days, it looks like. Crazy. And it makes you think, is there something going on with Stanton, too? Someone who hasn't been playing good. Is there something wrong with him? If that happens, if that becomes true, that they made Stanton play through an injury, that's kind of bad. If you've made 3 guys play through injuries that just made them worse. Something went wrong, try again. Uh-oh. Guys still there? Everyone's still here, just came up on my screen. Something went wrong, try again. If you guys are still there, please comment. I gotta make sure I'm still talking to people. I see there's people watching, but I don't see... I don't know. I'm just gonna think that you're still there. I hope you guys are still here. So, yeah. And let's talk about the playoff race in general, because we know the Yankees are making a push. They're making their players play through injuries. These are what we're looking at. We're looking at close wild card races, actually. Now that there's 3 wild card spots, we really have these tight races. So in the AL, we have the Mariners, the Yankees, the Red Sox, kind of the Angels are still kind of in it. Basically, those 4 teams are battling out. It's a battleground. They're all kind of close to each other. And then they have to go through Toronto. And interestingly enough, on the last series of the year, it might be the last one, the Yankees play Toronto. So that last series could be the chance to get into the playoffs. All or nothing. I'm going to one of those games. And yeah. All or nothing, really. It's going to be a Hail Mary for the Yankees. And then let's talk about the NL wild card races. It's tight, You got the Diamondbacks, the Dodgers, the Giants. You have the Padres. You have the Cubs, the Pirates. Pirates and, I don't know. The Cubs really heated up and now pushing back into it. The Reds, the Brewers. And then in the East, you have the Phillies, the Marlins, kind of. I don't know if the Marlins will continue pushing, but who knows? You just have these great races, which are so fun to watch. You have to be strategic as a team to what you want to do. Alright, sounds good. But yeah, you really have these close divisional races that are just interesting to watch. If you're in the AL Central right now, it's really win that division or you don't make the playoffs. Like, if you're the Guardians or if you're... Nah, the White Sox ain't making it. The Twins, whoever doesn't win that division is not making the playoffs. You are not making the wild card if you're the Twins or the Guardians. You're not. Hate to say it, the only chance is winning that division. Which will be interesting to see. That division is terrible. Also, the NL Central, which everyone thought would be bad, including myself, is suddenly good. The Reds have been really good. We know Ellie De La Cruz, so good. I'm not hating. I'm saying he is very good, very talented, but he's so good. You overlook another player who right now might be a little better. I know he's not as flashy as Ellie. He doesn't hit those bombs. He's not as fast. The defense may not be there. But he is one of the most consistent hitters in baseball. I'll say it. Matt McLain. So good, Matt McLain. If you look at these stats, he's really good. He is a solid player. He is so underrated. He is not just like your average player, who goes out there and hustles. He is an above average player who I see probably playing in an All-Star game next year or two. Like, I know Ellie is great, but you're overlooking Matt McLain. And this Reds infield is getting really good. Spencer Steer at first base, an underrated player. Oh, actually, Joey Votto's at first because he came off the injury. There's your veteran. Jonathan India, former Rookie of the Year winner, at second. Matt McLain, I just talked about how good he is at short. And then Ellie De La Cruz at third, breaking records every day. You have maybe one of the best infields in baseball next year if all these guys continue. Because Jonathan India's had an underrated year. Matt McLain's underrated. Ellie's really good. Does everything right. Maybe strikes out a little too much, but everyone nowadays strikes out a lot. But he's still putting an average around 270 with all that power and all that speed and that crazy defense. This is a fantastic infield for the Reds. And yeah, I just really see them next year. If they get a pitcher, look out. You got the veteran in Votto. You got that infield. You could get a decent pitcher if you get a good pitcher. I'm surprised he didn't go after any pitchers in the deadline. But we shall see what happens. Andrew Abbott's a good pitcher. Don't get me wrong, but I really feel like they need someone to really put them over the top. Someone like a Marcus Stroman, who they could have traded for. But I don't know if the Cubs would trade to the Reds, someone they're currently competing with for the playoffs. But the Reds can be really good. So don't sleep on them. And don't sleep on Matt McLain. Final. We'll have a few more people get on. We're going to talk about the MVP awards soon. MVP race is actually interesting for the NL. Everyone's thinking Acuna, but there are also two studs there. I mean, everyone knows who the AL MVP is. If you don't say Shohei Ohtani, I honestly am concerned about how you are doing in the head. Hopefully you're not suffering from post-concussion syndrome like Anthony Rizzo. If you don't think Shohei Ohtani is winning the MVP, get out of here, man. I know there's good players there too, but you cannot beat this dude. You cannot. And then the NL, it's kind of obvious, but it's heated up a lot. It's Ronald Acuna Jr., but it's heated up a lot. I want to bring to your attention Freddie Freeman and Mookie Betts. Two dudes on the Dodgers who are having insane years, crazy years. You also got the youngster Corbin Carroll. I don't think he'll finish top 3, but he's a really good star. Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman, man, are really good this year. And they're giving Acuna kind of a challenge. I mean, Acuna had an incredible start to the season, and he's better than them on most stats, but I really wouldn't say this is a unanimous MVP. I definitely don't think it will be unanimous. I think Freeman and Betts will get some votes. I don't think they'll get a lot of votes, but I think they will get some. I think the AL MVP is very much unanimous, but the NL, don't think it's over yet, Don't. And then let's talk about these other awards we got going on. I know I made a video about the awards, but some of them have changed. Yes, I'm changing my AL Cy Young Award winner because my pick, Shane McClanahan, got hurt. I'm changing it to Garrett Cole, maybe the best pitcher in the MLB right now. Dude is filthy good. Like, honestly, really good. He's taken his game to a whole new level. This may be his best season ever. And I see him having one of the best Yankee pitching seasons of all time, if not the best. Let's go to the NL, and I got some contenders. Really, I might stick with Strider, but it's going to be close. Zach Allen, another guy I wanted to throw out there. Justin Steele, Marcus Stroman, you could say, but he's now suffering a lot. He's not pitching great. Justin Steele, I might like better. His teammate, who's also very underrated. But those are my two guys, really. Zach Allen, Spencer Strider. Corbin Burnes has had a great second half, but not enough to beat those two. Those two machines, pitching machines they are. They are great. They are carrying their teams to the playoffs, maybe. I think the Braves are no doubter to make the playoffs, but the Diamondbacks are making a decent push. And Zach Allen is a key to their success. You need a guy who could go out there every 5 days and throw a gem. And I think it's right down to the wire for the NL Cy Young. I don't think it's that close for the AL Cy Young. I think it's Garrett Cole. But it's really close between Zach Allen and Spencer Strider. I want to hear from you guys. What do you think the NL MVP is? Do you think it's Strider or do you think it's Gallen? Let me know in the comments section. Yeah, interesting. And then we have the Rookie of the Year awards to talk about. I see so many people saying Masataka Yoshida, who is good, and I can see him winning it, actually. I definitely could, but my pick is Josh Jung. So good. Still a little underrated. I mean, have you seen how much runs scored this dude has? It's nuts. Recently hit a home run. He's over 20 home runs right now. Yoshida has a high batting average and all that, but I think it's got to go to Josh Jung. Also super underrated on the defensive side, Josh Jung. And let's go to the NL. I think it's pretty obvious. It's going to be Corbin Carroll. Maybe a top 5 MVP finalist. Corbin Carroll has really turned the Diamondbacks around. I knew he was going to be good. Picked him in fantasy. In the last round, I got Corbin Carroll. What a steal that was. I'm just going to brag about that. But Corbin Carroll is really good. 5-tool player. He started in an All-Star game. So did Josh Jung. This is one of the best rookie classes we have seen in terms of the award winners, Josh Jung and Corbin Carroll. I think Corbin Carroll turns out to be a generational talent. So yeah. Wait a little bit for some more people to get on. People are going up and down in views. So like we're here and then we're here and then we're here in terms of views. So we'll wait a little bit. Yeah. So Corbin Carroll, I see having a very bright future. For the AL MVP, we talked about Shohei Ohtani being a unanimous winner, but who comes in second? Honestly, I know not a lot of people are thinking it, but the first person who comes to mind is Luis Robert. I think this dude has crazy superstar talent. He got hurt in the home run derby, but that did not stop him. He's still going on to have a crazy, fantastic year. Also picked him in the later rounds of fantasy. He's really good. We see 5-tool potential from him. He's been hitting nukes. Underrated power hitter. When people think of power hitters, people don't say his name for some reason. Like, this dude has a lot of home runs, and I see him finishing in second. Another guy I want to talk about maybe in third place is Corey Seager, who really has had an electrifying year. I also want to bring up, what's up, new viewers? I also want to bring up that you might see Garrett Cole finishing in the top 5 for MVP even. I mean, top 5 maybe is a stretch, but you will see him in top 10. He is having that good of a year. I really like Corey Seager, though, finishing top 3. Maybe you'll see Robert finish top 3. Yeah, Judge didn't play enough games, I don't think, to finish top 5. He might finish top 20. He won't. I don't think he'll finish top 10. I don't think he should, but he might. Thanks for the like. I appreciate it. I don't think Judge will finish top 5, but he might because he's Aaron Judge. Also, Jose Ramirez should be up there in that conversation. If you're just joining, we're talking about the MVP awards, and we know it's unanimous, the AL MVP, but I'm talking about who's going to come runners up. I mentioned Corey Seager, maybe even Garrett Cole. Not runner up, but I really want to talk about Luis Robert Jr. So underrated, Luis Robert. So good. I would love to have him on the Yankees, but we all know that won't happen. I think you could see him in runner-up for MVP. He is having that much of a productive year for a terrible team, the White Sox. Little Tim Anderson, boom, boom, boom. He is so good, Luis Robert. I just can't that so many people don't talk about him when they're talking about the MVP. But J-Ram, Jose Ramirez should be in that conversation. Corey Seager should. Probably Garrett Cole. I'm trying to think of the other players. Who was in that All-Star game? Semyon cooled off. Yandy Diaz, you could see there. Yandy Diaz is having a great year, too. Wander cooled off a little too much to be in that discussion. He's now batting like 260 something. And then Bo Bichette got hurt. He is on fire, Bo Bichette. Before he got hurt, which is a huge blow for the Blue Jays, people trying to lock down a wild card spot. Bo Bichette may have been the best shortstop in baseball, and I believe he was. You could say Corey Seager, but I might take Bo Bichette. I'm not being biased or anything, but crazy year. Close between him and Seager. But yeah. And let me see, who else do I want to put in that list of like the best player? I mean, you're probably gonna see votes for J Rod. Thinking. Let's go through the teams. Adley Rutschman maybe, even though I don't know who started. Oh, Jonah Heim started the All-Star game. Oh, Oriole. I want to talk about this Oriole. We talked about Cy Young voting. I think that Felix Bautista will at least finish top 5 in Cy Young voting. You may even see him finish top 3. He is having that good of a year as a closing pitcher. He has an ERA under 1. He has a 0.85 ERA with 30 saves, and you usually don't see closing pitchers or relievers at this point of the season have over 100 strikeouts. He's got 102. He is a beast this season. He has been unstoppable. He's been like a freight train. I think he should finish top 3. He might not. He needs to finish top 5 at least. He is that good, Felix Bautista. That good. Another reliever I want to talk about who won't finish top 5 in Cy Young voting, but, should finish maybe top 10. He was an all-star. Nasty pitches, great velocity, sinker, slider, fastball guy. Camilo Doval of the San Francisco Giants. He locked down their closer spot, and he has been insane this year. You might see him win reliever of the year. It's going to be a little tough because Josh Hader and Devin Williams are there. I think they are having better seasons. I just wanted to bring some credit to Camilo Doval's name. And I do think Felix Bautista finishes top 5. In my opinion, he's top 3 at the 3 spot. I don't know how much longer McClanahan's on the injured list. Let me give you my top 5 for Cy Young voting in the AL. Cole is a definite one, Garrett Cole. I don't know how much longer McClanahan has on the IL. I think he was recently added there. Eovaldi, I think, is coming soon off the IL. You might see him there. Do I put him at 2? I might put him at 2. If you disagree, let me know in the comments. But Kevin Gausman could also be a guy. Kevin Gausman is a strikeout machine this year. Trying to think. McClanahan's hurt. I don't think he finishes top 4 maybe because this is how much this injury is hurting him. And he's also been rough at the end of the season. I don't think he finishes on a strong note. But he has a great season overall, Shane McClanahan. Who else do I think? I think Eovaldi's up there. I think he's top 5. Not Manoah. Definitely not. I'm trying to think of last year, the finalist. And definitely not Manoah. He stinks. Well, he actually doesn't stink. He's been decent since coming off the minor leagues because he was sent down for being terrible. And yeah, so he's been decent since he's been called back up. I don't think he's anywhere close, though. I'm just going through the teams right now. Mariners, Luis Castillo, you could definitely see. Astros, Framber, Astros. Framber Valdez. Ooh, do I put him at the 2 spot? Because he's been, Eovaldi's injury does hurt him. Definitely. I might do Cole, Valdez. What's that dude's name? Why am I blanking on it? Bautista. So Cole, Valdez, Bautista, Eovaldi. I might want to put McClanahan there. Or Castillo. I'll put McClanahan. Top 5. That's enough for today. If you enjoyed it, leave a like. If you like this, subscribe. Have a great day.